Let us begin with a prayer. A prayer is planting an intention into the oceanic consciousness. A positive intention, so that the consciousness crystallizes through those intentions into desirable outcomes. So the prayer and prayatna, effort. So prayer and effort. Prayer followed by the effort. Agne yasubadharaye asman Vishwani deva ayunani vidwan Yuyodhyasmad juhurana menaha Bhoyishtam te namauttim vidhema. O fire, you are visible manifestation of God. I take you as God's visible manifestation. O fire, Agni, you know both the straight and the crooked paths. The straight path goes to happiness, the crooked path goes to suffering. Please lead me on the straight path to happiness, to fulfillment. And I prostrate to you again and again. Agne nayasubadharaye asman Vishwani deva vayunani vidwan Yuyodhyasmad juhurana menaha Bhoyishtam te namuktim vidhema. Hari. We are reflecting on the idea of karma. So karma has some presupposition. This karma siddhanta or theory of karma has some presuppositions. What are those presuppositions? That there are many souls and there is the Prakriti. That is the presupposition. Any theory building, you need some presuppositions. In philosophy, they talk about the state of nature. State of nature. From there, they build things. Similarly, in Karma Siddhanta, there is some presupposition that there is souls, you and I, and the Prakriti. And you are given a brand new body, mind, ego complex. These are the presuppositions. So your soul is not the body, mind, ego complex. That's something different. Your Atma. Just like you give a brand new motorbike to your son. Something like that. You need some preliminary ideas. From there we can build. So, you are the soul, pure Atman, self, operating this body, mind, ego complex. All of you have an ego. Don't pretend you have no ego. That pretension itself is the biggest ego. Ego means the notion that I am separate from you. That is the ego, which is necessary. But it's an instrument, it's a tool, not your real nature. In your nature, you have no ego. But you assume an ego, an identity. No harm in that. But the only thing is that you must accept the egos of others also. The problem is, I am okay with my ego, but I cannot tolerate other egos. You have to accept and work with other egos. Then I would define that as egolessness. Accepting other egos into your calculation so that you create win-win situations. What they call common good. So you are the self, the Atman, the soul in the English language. You have the body, mind, ego complex, brand new. And then there is the world, Prakriti. This body, mind, ego complex is taken out of the Prakriti. That's why Bhagavad Gita says, Guna Guneshu Vartande. One set of Prakriti interacting with another set of Prakriti. Now here, according to Karma Siddhanta, you are free agent of action. You are free to act. And that freedom, most of the time, we misuse. So we are free to act. And when we act, it produces a result. The result becomes a vasana or a memory in your body, mind, ego complex. Like a brand new car, initially it's all beautiful, then it, strike with something else and create scratches and then problems, and finally you have to junk the car. Similarly, the body is a brand new when you got it. Then you use it, you drive it. When you drive, there are two constraints. One is a psychological constraint, the other is the outside constraint, inner and outer constraints are there. Because as you act, you gather memories. There are three types of memories. One memory is emotional memory. Like somebody hurt me, somebody did not respect me, somebody did not recognize me, my wife doesn't listen to me, my children don't listen to me. Those kind of emotional memories. And the other is factual memories. That there is a tree, there is a stone, or here is a river. Factual memories, which are very important. And the third memory is skill memories. Your ability to drive and cook and all that is skill memories. So these memories you acquire as you interact with the world. Let me call it vasanas or memories. So you are free to act, but slowly and steadily your freedom gets compromised because memories get accumulated. So freedom is compromised. So you start doing the same thing again and again. You start asking the same thing again and again. What's your name? Then he tells your name. Again after 2 minutes, what's your name? Again after a minute, what's your name? So when you ask it third time, the other guy gets fed up with you. He walks away. Then you say he did not respect. He did not listen. So what I'm saying is, over a period of time, you gather these memories and get stuck. That's why we feel bored with life. I am bored with life. I think I am doing the same thing again and again. Guilt comes, shame, fear. Children have no fear, but slowly they develop fear. And then you curse yourself, low self-esteem. Over a period of time, all these negativities are accumulated. Then you come to a dead end. Here, in this system, God doesn't have much a role to play. God did not create you. God did not create the world according to this system. They are all ever existing. Souls are ever existing. The world also is ever existing. God is only a referee or account keeper. He keeps an account of what you have done and what you should get. So he's just a referee. He's a neutral person. He or she, whichever gender you ascribe to God. So that's it. I would call it a karma market. What do you in market? You invest some money. Sometimes you get something. Sometimes you lose everything. Or you start a business. And when you start a business or invest in money, you have to make outcome under constraints. Constraints are there. Your constraints inside and outside constraints. So your success depends upon your ability to navigate through these constraints. That's why it called a marketplace. And if you marketplace of karma. And if you are not successful, you have to close shop, isn't it? And start something else. Start something else. But the thing is that you continue to do the same thing again and again. So somehow or other we have to manage this memory, accumulated memory. How do we do that is the question. We need an intervention. You cannot do the same thing again and again and again. Unless you need an intervene into this cycle. You continue to do the same thing. Life becomes very boring. And you say that I am finished, I am done. So how do you intervene is the question. In this memory bank you have, how do you change its direction? Vasanas. How do you change the quality of this? What should I do when I get stuck? These are the questions we were discussing earlier, the last time. What should I do? I feel stuck. I feel I am doing the same thing again and again. And I need a fresh start now. And you have the capacity for that fresh start. From the Vedantic standpoint, you are Brahman, isn't it? You are only operating this vehicle. You can junk it and buy a new vehicle or jump into somebody's vehicle. Everything is possible. So, you have the ultimate resource. You are a free agent. Provided you are ready to look around, take a 360 degree look around and intervene. And for that, you have to unlearn certain things. You have to relearn, unlearn. How do you do that? Reflect upon yourself. Take a break. So that you will get a breakthrough, as they say. Take a break. Go to some ashram, sit there for some time. Or discuss with your guru. Or your good friend. Or go to the internet. So there should be an inner churning. You become aware that I am stuck. And at the same time, you must have the humility to discuss, rebrand yourself, repurpose yourself, rebirth yourself, whatever they say. You don't have to live in this kind of misery or self-deprecating, self-abusive miseries. You have access to that fresh resource. That's why we say, take a break. You know, in every civilization, you find this taking a break is very important. Every seventh day you take a break, isn't it? That's called Sabbath. Every 7 years you take a break, what is called sabbatical. Every 50 years you take a break, what is called a jubilee. By the 100th year you are normal, so physically you are normal, so it is there. Some people live up to 100 also. So this occasional break in the Western culture, even in the Eastern culture, Amavasya, Paurnima, Ekadashi, let's go on a pilgrimage, let us fast. These are all renewing yourself. Every culture, every civilization have this way of renewing yourself, which is very, very important. Take a break, reflect, where am I? And look ahead, look backward. In a car also you have a rear view mirror, isn't it? You have to look into that, look forward, look sides. Similarly, you have to rebrand, repurpose, reinvent yourself. And you have the resource for that. If you try, you have to. So we have to now questioning our basic assumptions. What are the basic assumptions? We have seen the ontological, ontic assumptions, we say. Our understanding about what is the nature of reality. We have to renew. We have to relook at. We had a certain understanding based upon which we made our choices. Now we are re-evaluating, taking a second look. So we asked 11 questions because to reconstruct yourself, you have to ask the questions. Without asking questions, you cannot get new answers. When you are stuck, you start asking questions, isn't it? What did I do, Swamiji? What did I do? I am suffering. What did I do? I am not able to move ahead. What did I do? Because nobody listens to me. Otherwise, you are very sure. Now you start questioning. That self-doubt is very important. There's nothing wrong with that. But self-doubt should not go to such an extreme that you have no confidence in yourself. Continuously doubting. Samshayatma vinashyati, as Bhagavad Gita says. If you continuously doubt, then that is tragic. So periodic self-doubt, self-evaluation is necessary. So you start asking, go back to the fundamentals. Go back to the fundamentals and ask fundamental questions. 11 questions I have posed in front of you. Reflect on that. And if you are not able to reflect, get a consultant, somebody else among you, you can discuss. Not that you will get a final answer, but the very questioning is plowing the field of your mind. You have to leave the field of your mind fallow for some time. Then you have to plow it. That is the meaning of this questioning. So 11 empty questions. Empty questions about basic reality. And you have to revisit that. So the first question was, what is existence and non-existence? Is it existence or not? What is the fundamental thing? Some people say it is non-existent. There is nothing. From nothing, everything came. Some people say no. Only nothing can come out of nothing. It must have come from something. Those kind of questions. These are called useless questions sometimes. But there is a usefulness for this useless question. It may not put bread and butter on your table. But sometimes you have to sit down and ask these fundamental, basic questions. And it is fun, I tell you. It is fun asking these questions. So that you can shake out of your laziness, that feeling that I have come to a dead end. So first the question is that, what is the ultimate? Is it existence or non-existence? These days scientists also ask this question. Why there is something rather than nothing? My God, what is the use of this question? There is a lot of use, I tell you. You are plowing the soil of your mind. Second question is one or many? Vedanta says everything is one. But there are very eminent philosophers who say there are many. 101 elements, blah, blah, all that. So that question is very important. Keep asking that question. And you may take a standpoint or you may not. Doesn't matter. After this questioning and debate, you come to a state of creative state. And the third question was, is it consciousness or matter? What is primary? That question also is. Just to refresh your memory. I hope you written down all this, but just refresh your memory. Consciousness or matter. And the fourth question is a godless world or a world with God? Either in supreme intelligence, superintending all this, or just evolution, blind evolution. That's a very, very fundamental question. So consciousness. Some people say God is dead. So I can do whatever I can do whatever I want. Is that? Father is away, now I can't do anything. Isn't it? Mother is away, I can't do anything. That sense of that responsibility comes when you know that there is something responsible out there. Is it a godless world or a world with God. You can take any position you want. If you think like this, it refreshes you. And then, is it soul or body? Am I just a body? Or is there a soul in me? And then, is it only one life or many life? Some people say, especially in the West, only one life. Thereafter, you are buried with the coat, boot, suit and all that, buried under the earth. Thereafter, at the time of end, some judgment comes and all that. These things influence your life, I tell you. Whereas in Vedanta we believe maybe there are many lives. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe. And sometimes that idea gives you a lot of solace, I tell you. Maybe. Then gives you a solace. That gives you an opening. And then the idea is that we have seen Samanya and Vishesha. Some people say everything is independently existing. There is nothing connecting. I say my opinion, you say your opinion. There is nothing to discuss. I present myself, you present yourself, nothing to discuss. There is no general theories. There are some people, they are called solipsists. I take my position, you take your position, and we are in our own place. There is nothing that unites us, which is a very dangerous philosophy. No communication, nothing is possible. No unifying principles. And the next question is that momentariness and eternity. Everything is momentary. Some people say, no, there is something eternal, where the momentariness appear and disappear. What's your position? You may not have a position, but ask these questions. Then is it creation, evolution, or appearance? That's also a question. Creation, evolution, or appearance? That question you ask and then discuss, debate. So, then the next question is that, as I told you, can machines have intelligence? Because we are entering into that age now. This has become an existential question now. Earlier machines were innocent, you made it. Now, can machines have intelligence? Self, identity. Can they question you? Machine, can it be alive? Very important question. You have to strategize now. As a community, as a civilization, as an individual, you have to ask this question. And the last but not the least, are you the end? Are we human beings the end or only a means? Are we going to disappear like the dinosaurs or the Neanderthals? Possible. We think we are the end. Without us, nothing will exist. You may be, a passing phase in the long march of events. No, but as long as I live, I don't think any of this problem. That is true. But these kind of questions will help you organize your thoughts, to challenge yourself, and to get a new perspective of things. You feel a brand new individual. If you go through these questions, reflect, analyze, and then you can have a new start. This is what we have seen. I revisited that last discourse because it was a little tough. For some people thought it was a little tough. So we have to do that. Life is tough anyway. So let us discuss these things. Now today, I'll be talking about the epistemological basis of karma. What is epistemology? Episteme means knowledge. It's a Greek word. Episteme, jnanam, knowledge. What is knowledge? We have to think about it. We all have knowledge, don't we? Without knowledge, you cannot do anything. Without knowledge, you cannot do. So, what is knowledge? What is the validation of knowledge? How do I know what I know is real knowledge? I may be deluding myself. How do I know here is a trouble? How do I know? What is the validation for that? Some people say, When you look, there is a table. When you don't look, there is no table. Is it rational to you? It's not me who is saying, greatest philosophers, like Wittgenstein, all those great philosophers. They say, when you look, there is a table. When you don't look, there is no table. If a tree falls in the depth of the forest, does it make any noise unless somebody is there? Some people say it doesn't make any noise because nobody to hear it. But it should create some disturbance at least. Suppose the table is there only when you look. When you don't look, there is no table. That means don't look. Then there is no table. Somebody takes away the table, let us say. Later when you come and look, will there be the table? So, there is an objective reality, which we call Ishvara Srishti, not Jiva Srishti. The objective world is Ishvara Srishti. Did you learn? The interpersonal. You see the table, I see the table. It's not because I looked and there the table appeared. I cannot look and create a table. So in Vedanta we call it Srishti Drishti Drishti Srishti. Srishti Drishti means because there is a table, I am able to see that. So the table, what I see, what I know of the table is only a representation of the table. That is called Srishti Drishti, Ishvara Srishti. The other argument is, I create the table by a look, which is called presentation theory or Drishti Srishti. These words you don't have to know, Drishti Srishti. So table can be a representation in my mind. My knowledge is representing the table, or when I look at, I create the table. Let these ideas be in your mind. I don't want you to take any position now. Later you can take the position. So I see the table because there is a table. I can taste the apple because there is an apple. I can hear the music that there is a music. Not that my brain creates the music. Of course, some interpretation is there. The brain may be processing that information and create an experience for you. But there is something outside. The first source of knowledge is the outside world, which is called Indriya Pratyaksham. In Sanskritam, we call it Indriya Pratyaksham. They are objects presented to your sense organ. They are independent of you. Whether you are there or not, their objects are there. Which is called Indriya Pratyaksham. And how do I know what I see is the truth? There is no other way. There is no other way of knowing. Suppose you see the blue sky. The blue sky is true or not? There is no blueness there actually. It looks blue because from a distance. So therefore you have to go closer. If you are very far away from the object, you don't see the object properly. Therefore go a little closer. Then there is no blueness. Isn't it? So what you saw blueness was only a Brahma. Brahma means a visual illusion because of the distance. The stars are seen very small, isn't it? But are they small? Why do they look small? Because of the distance. So you use a telescope, then you will see the vastness of the star. So distance can create distortions or lack of light. I see a snake there and I got scared, and the snake is just across the door through which I have to go. So I am scared to go into my house. Then I bring a flashlight. My God, there is no snake. There is only a rope. So lack of light can create visual illusions. Or you are not in a good mood. When you are not in a good mood, you can create visual illusions. Isn't it? So, but there is no other way, there is no other means of knowing the world. except using your sense organ and making some correction. So Vedanta, or in epistemology, you call it your sense organs are its own validation. You can ask the question because you see the blueness and you want to scrape some blueness out of it, and when you go there, it's not there. So through experimentation, you can correct yourself. But still the correction is possible by re-employing your sense organ. I hope I make some sense. So one way of gathering information, data, is using your sense organ. And you have to believe in your sense organ. There's no other way. If you question your sense organ, this is called pratyaksha pramanam. Pramana means ways of knowing. Earlier we were discussing the prameya, what is out there. We need some hypothetical understanding, what is there. Otherwise you choose the wrong pramanas. So last time we did the prameya vyavahara. Prameya means the nature of the object. Today we are doing pramana vyavahara, meaning how do you know what is there. So pramana, prameya, and there is a pramadra also. Pramadra means the knower. The knower should have good sense organs and all that. So in any acquisition of knowledge, you need these three: prameyam, pramanam, pramadra, knower, object to be known, and the instruments of knowing. Right? So you collect data from where? From using your sense organs. You collect data, and it's there in your mind. Another source of knowing is, this is called pratyaksha pramanam. The other is called anumanam or inference. This is called, so pratyaksham and paroksham. Paroksham means things away from you. So how do you know there is a big, large mountain called Himalaya? How do you know? Have you been there? No. But you know it's there. It's far away from you. Paroksham, far away from you. How do you know that there is Himalayas? Somebody has to tell you. Or you must read. Or when it is very cold in New Delhi, then you know the Himalayas or snow is falling in Himalayas. Inference. Is something away from you, which is not falling in the scope of your sense organs, then you have to use inference. That's the only way. And then you can go and see it later. You can go and see it later. This is called paroksham. So you can use inference to gather information. And later you can go and verify them. Paroksham. And there is nitya paroksha objects. Nitya paroksha means you can never know through your sense organs or through inference. They are called nitya paroksha. There is no other way, no way of knowing it. Like the dark matter or dark energy or something. I'm just giving you some practical example. What is that? Let's say hell and heaven. Do you know there is hell and heaven? Can you go and see that? No. But most of us believe in it and organize our life accordingly. No, I don't want to go to hell, so I won't do this. I want to go to heaven, so I will do this. Isn't it? Good deeds and bad deeds and all that. So they are nitya paroksham. So how do you know they are? You have to study Shastra. You have to study Shastra. So there is pratyaksham, you gather information from sense organs. There is paroksham, and to know that you use inference. Inference means anumana pramanam. Anumana pramanam. So there are people who say, I believe only what I see. Whatever within my sense organs, I believe only that. And they organize their life accordingly. Not that they don't live. They also organize it. Their values are like that. Their choices are like that. So your choices depend upon what you know. And what you know depend upon what pramana you use, what means of knowledge you use. So you can use your pratyaksha pramana, or you can use anumana. Anumana means inference. How do you infer? In the classic example is that mountain is on fire. Do you see that? No. How do you say the mountain is on fire? Because I see smoke. Isn't it? Because I see smoke. Therefore I say the mountain is on fire, so don't go there. So it influences your action. The knowledge influences your action, your choices. So there is pratyaksham, paroksham, nitya paroksham. Nitya paroksham. And those who believe in nitya paroksham, not that all of you believe in nitya paroksham. Those who believe in nitya paroksham, they use such pramanas. What is the pramana? Scriptures. The scripture says it. My father gave me the scripture. He got it from his grandfather. And they organized their life based upon the scriptural instructions. And they led a good life. They made a lot of mistakes also because of the scriptures. That also is there. Isn't it? So Shastra become a source of knowledge. Text become a source of knowledge. Shastra means text. Become a source of knowledge. And 90% of our knowledge is from the text. You read physics, chemistry, biology, history, economics. You gather knowledge from that. Isn't it? So texts are very important. Libraries are very important. Museums are important. Grandmothers are important. Isn't it? Grandmother is important. Grandfather. That is also information we reject. They also have a big role to play in your life. Certain things they alone know. Of course, these days you have the internet and all that, or Google, or museums and books, and then all that. Olden days, it's only grandmothers, grandparents. They give you a lot of information. They're called aptas. Aptas means wise people, those who have experienced life. Because life is very complex. Life is not just knowing what is 1 plus 1 is 2. That is ordinary knowledge. Isn't 1 plus 1 is 2. Life is not like that. Life can be 1 plus 1 can be 3. 1 plus 1 can be 0 also. Life is a very complex mathematics. Only the grandma knows that. You and I know. We don't know. Because we don't have that experience. We don't have that wisdom. So Shastra become very, very important. Or what you call Shabda Pramana become very, very important. And in certain areas only the Shastra can help us. The textual analysis, textual understanding. With the help of a competent person. That is another source of information. Most of the people don't believe in it. So they are missing a valuable source of information and knowledge. You can critically analyze that, but give some attention to the Shastra. You know, the Bibles and the Qurans and the Bhagavad Gita and the Tao, all those texts. Plato, Aristotle, or Vyasa, Shankara, Gaudapada, Confucius. All these people, all these texts are very important for us, including your grandmother, let me put it that. Because they also have a lot of information. A lot of information is buried under the ground, isn't it? The fossils and whatnot. So they are sources of information for us. This is called the textual source. So pratyaksha, paroksha. Paroksha means far away from us. Maybe in time far away, maybe in space far away. Then nitya paroksha, you can never know it directly. You can know it only by the effect. From the effect, you have to again infer. So you never visually see it or experimentally see it. Those areas also are there. Unfortunately, we don't take those into consideration. Now you also have yogi pratyaksham, he says. It is not only pratyaksha, sense organs. Yogi pratyaksham. Yogi means one who has undergone certain discipline. They have reorganized their system. Maybe fasting, maybe yoga, maybe meditation, maybe long years of study. They create an insight. Through that insight, they can know things. It is called yogi pratyaksham, which is a new concept for us. Actually, it is not a new concept. In any area, you have yogis. Yogi means experts, virtuosos. They can just by a look, they can understand. They get revelatory knowledge, like Einstein. Einstein, I would call a yogi. Suddenly he came up on this theory. Working as a clerk in a patent office with a moderate education. He was not a great student or anything. Because so that his mind was free. Otherwise, the tyranny of information can create problem. So he got suddenly this idea. He says, I don't know how it descended on me. It was a quantum leap, a paradigmatic shift. A quantum leap happened in his, and our whole world will change. And if you ask Einstein, how did you get it? He cannot explain it. Or Ramanujan. Some of the solutions he arrived at, we still are struggling with that. How did he get it? He said, Devi spoke to me. Mathematician. Devi spoke to me. Kalidasa. Kalidasa was a shepherd, a foolish person. He was sitting on a branch of a tree and cutting at the wrong end of the tree. Somebody going by, he said, oh fool, what are you doing? You're cutting the branch of the tree on branch which you are sitting. You will fall down. He said, how do you know? How do you know you will fall down? Okay, you will know it later. He cut it, he fell down, he broke his bones. Now he has got a wisdom. And from that wisdom, he got a revelatory. He became a great poet. I mean, the story goes, then he worshipped Devi and all that. But even that fall was enough. So this is called yogi pratyaksham, a direct insight into things. An intuitive, direct insight into things. And some lucky people like that, they get Einstein, Newton. So many people have seen apples falling. Nobody got this idea. Where did he get this idea? It is not 1 plus 1, 2 idea. It's a breakthrough idea. Thereafter, the whole world changed. After Einstein, the whole world changed. The same world, but we are looking at the world in a different light, isn't it? So, yogi pratyaksham is another source of information. So, we have pratyaksham, use your sense organs. Pratyaksham. Parosham, use inference and signs and then cues and all that. And then you have a nitya pratyaksham. For there, that you have to go to the scriptures. Then your apta, wise people, long experience. Then you have these breakthrough people who get revelatory knowledge. All these are sources of information. So in Vedanta we say one source is Pratyaksha Pramanam, Anumana Pramanam, Upamanam, comparison. Sometimes you gain knowledge by analogies, analogous reasoning, comparison. What is a horse? Somebody asked, what is a horse? You have not seen a horse? No. But have you seen a donkey? Yes. Horse is something like a donkey. This is called analogous reasoning. That way also you can get knowledge. So this is the raw data you collect. It's not enough. This is raw data. Now we have to process this data. That is what we call reflection. Process this data and make this data knowledge, isn't it? Merely gathering information will confuse you. You have to see patterns so that you can predict, oh, this may happen. So you have to see patterns. This has happened. This is called inductive logic. Inductive means fire creates smoke here. Wherever there is smoke, there is fire. In my kitchen, on the mountain, here, there, everywhere. The sun has been rising every day, therefore sun will rise tomorrow also. That's a prediction, isn't it? Sun has been rising every day. This is called induction. Yesterday, day before yesterday, my grandfather, great-grandfather, sun was rising. Therefore tomorrow also. How do you know? How do you know? Tell me, sir. Sun may not rise tomorrow. Are you so sure about that? You cannot. It's only a jump. Because you don't have all the data. You have only a limited data. From the limited data, you understand the patterns so that you can predict. And tomorrow, sun may not rise. What they call the black swan. All swans are white. Because all the swans that you have seen are white. Or your forefathers have seen are white. You go to the history, all were white. But tomorrow there can be a black swan also. Therefore, you keep some space for that. That is why when you create knowledge, you have to critique it periodically. That is called critical knowledge. Critique it periodically. Ready to revise your knowledge. Falsify your knowledge. Because here from information, data, you created a knowledge system so that you can organize your life accordingly. And as you employ this knowledge, then new data may come. And you have to revise yourself. Most of us are not able to do that. Because we are stuck. We are not ready to question. So this revision is important. So there are 3 levels. A pure information, data, from all these levels, not just sense organs level. That will cripple you. Your understanding. All these sources are important. And then that data is to be, you have to see patterns in it. If you don't do it, somebody in the community can do that. Because after all, we are living in a community. Everybody doesn't have to do. Division of labor. Some people do that and you feed them. That's all what you have to do. And you can get the benefit also. So thus, collect data, see the patterns, and then revise it, try to falsify it, and thus you can reinvent yourself. Asking basic questions and questioning the means of knowing, whatever means you are using, question that. So thus it is a open architecture. Knowledge is always open architecture. All your knowledge is provisional knowledge. And you are ready to revise it. Every 7th day, every 7 years, every 50 years, you have to revise your knowledge. And thus you can act better. You have better choices. You can expand your choice. So you can enjoy your true freedom. Otherwise, you become a prisoner of your memory in old habits and you lose your freedom. So one has to exercise one freedom by questioning the premises, questioning the means of knowledge, questioning yourself, your own person, your own personhood, because that also has to be questioned. So pramadra, knower, prameyam, object, pramanam, the means of knowing. If you question them, then you can live afresh. You are fresh all the time. You're a child. You can learn on the fly. All the time you can renew yourself. So now you have the means of knowledge, various means of knowledge. The unfortunate thing the modern man is, they believe only in the Pratyasha Pramana. And even spiritual people like Buddha, Pratyasha Pramana. So we need all these pramanas to get a total vision of things. Now the next question we are going to address is, with all this knowledge, how the ethical question. Knowledge is there. How to use this knowledge ethically. Suppose you have a knife. You can use both ways, isn't it? You can cut somebody's throat. You can use it to perform a surgery also. Or cut your vegetables. So this is a very important question for a human being. For an animal, doesn't have that problem. Animals act based upon impulses. We have the knowledge. So therefore, that's why, you ate the fruit of knowledge, isn't it? Now the burden is on you to choose. So how do I use this knowledge? Ethically is the next question. So next talk will be on the ethical foundation of action, karma. The ethics of karma. What are the different ways of knowing what is right, what is wrong, what is appropriate, what is inappropriate, what is good, what is bad, what is desirable, what is undesirable. This thing is very, very. So I'll be dealing with that, the ethics of action, or the ethical foundation of karma. That's right. First we thought about the ontic foundation, ontology, basic. Today we talked about the means of knowing. And since we don't use all these means of knowing, our knowledge becomes limited. Nor are we able to critique ourselves. There we get stuck. So now, tomorrow, next week, I'll be talking about the ethics. Then, next talk will be on aesthetics. Aesthetic. Concept of beauty. What is beautiful? This is very important. Because we want to take beautiful things, isn't it? Beauty is very, very important. Aesthetic. And the last, the ideologies we follow. We all knowingly and unknowingly we follow certain ideologies. What are they? Can we challenge them? So that you become a totally free individual. Under constraint, of course, there are constraints. Your constraints have to be taken into consideration. That's what I call karma market. When you invest, you are investing under certain constraints. When you do a business, you are doing it under certain constraints. And then you have to create outcomes. If you don't, somebody else will do. Isn't it? If you don't create outcomes, somebody else will. Then you'll have to work for that person. So therefore, don't surrender your freedom in the karma market. You are responsible for your choices. And you get the result of your choices. So karma makes you free and responsible individual. It is not that, I did something in the past and then I'm suffering the consequences for eternity. It is not the meaning of karma theory. It makes you a free agent of action and make you responsible. And it gives you the power to periodically evaluate yourself and redesign and reinvent and rebrand yourself. That's the meaning of karma. It gives you the power to define and determine your destiny. So thank you very much. It's a very powerful theory. And so that you cannot blame God or your fate or anything. You are the master of your destiny. Take the responsibility, take up the challenge, and decide who you want to be in life. So thank you very much. And the last session will be on Guru Purnima Day. So these lectures will be over on July 17th. So July 24th, the Guru Purnima, we will all meet and share our happiness, and we pay our respect to all our gurus. And then, so last lecture will be on the 17th July, and the culminating lecture will be on the 24th July, Saturday again. It's a Saturday, Guru Purnima. So thank you very much. Hari Om.